democracy, if you believe in the First Amendment, if you believe in freedom of religious expression, which is what we are preaching all over the Middle East, you would be against this ban. I mean, I agree with you to the extent that if there's a legitimate national security interest, then go ahead and ban it. But students don't lose their First Amendment rights in the United States when they get to the school door because somebody feels uncomfortable with the person sitting beside them.
And I think the real issue here, from my standpoint, is this is the perfect example of why we need to give parents more control over where they send their kids to school, because there's going to be a lot of parents out there who are in favor of the testing. Other people might justifiably think that, it's an invasion of privacy, and yet they're all forced to go to the same government school.
Well, I think that there's a lot more to fatherhood than just being a paycheck, and that's one of the real problems out there. Is I think that unfortunately a lot of what we've come to define fatherhood as being sure to send your child support on time, and that means you're a good dad.
Are a snapshot, and they are a snapshot in the rearview mirror. They are not a roadmap for the next 4 weeks ahead. What Republicans have to do is focus on the fact that, criticizing is easy, governing is difficult.
We don't want the government looking at our banking records. We don't want the government listening to our telephone calls. So we really have a hard time understanding why we want the government mandating the prevention mandating more compulsory vaccinations for children.
If you really believe it's hopeless, cut the funding. McCain said that. He doesn't believe it's hopeless. He's offered a resolution that's much better. It has some silly benchmarks, as if you can have a benchmark in war, but it's not defeatist.
We all understand that we have too little respect for marriage in our culture, and we need to work on that. But I don't think the legal system's the way to do it. These lawsuits, I don't think, are going to accomplish much.
I think women are much tougher on women, and I really do not believe that should she be the Democratic front runner in 2008, I don't think women are going to come out in overwhelming numbers to vote for her. I think her chances with men are a lot better than they are with women.
They are going back to school, and I think we have to keep in mind how much progress has been made since the fall of the Taliban and what we're comparing it to. At a time where, under the Taliban, women and girls weren't able to go get an education. They weren't able to go outside. They were being threatened constantly and being stoned to death in soccer stadiums. And so we have to keep in mind how much progress has been made since then. And they have been attending schools.
And one of the things that I've been taking out of this all week long is, particularly with Elizabeth Edwards' announcements this week, is that you don't just it lets people know that you don't have to just get in your bed and wait to die.
It's hard to fight a war when it's on TV every night. Of course it's hard, but look, we've got two things going on right now. The Democrats in Congress are trying to decide, should we surrender now or in 2008, and the people on the ground are trying to win this war. And
the Democrats misinterpreted what the victory in November meant. Americans were saying we want an effective government that's not corrupt, it's spending like drunken sailors, and there was the pall of the war. So the Democrats come in with this 100-day agenda, of which the only thing they passed was minimum wage, an increase in minimum wage.
This is something that the Republicans have admitted, that every Republican you hear on TV says, boy, we really lost our way and we need to return to the principles that got us elected in 1994. But I think that for the Democrats, what's really been really shocking to me, is that it would be very easy to continue to talk about the ethical scandals and to present a good face. But in the two first moves that we have from Nancy Pelosi, we have her backing the ethically challenged Murtha, and now she may be passing over Congresswoman Jane Harman as the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee.
If he can convince the quote-unquote regular people that he's one of the regular people, I don't think the money really makes a difference. It allows people to get into the race, but the bottom line is people are going to vote for who they like. Just
just because a credit card company will give you $5,000 in credit doesn't mean you should spend every penny of it.
Okay,
and the same thing goes for the mortgage industry.
We need to redouble our efforts also in Iraq, both politically, militarily, and economically, because one of the biggest threats to Iran right now would be a pro-stable democracy.
I think it's really important as a black woman to point out the experience is completely different for various reasons, but we need to stand up for ourselves and stop going on music videos and shaking our behinds and dressing in a certain manner and allowing our men to call us bitches and hoes.
I think he has a lot of money, but not enough to waste on a campaign. I think he didn't want to go against Hillary when she's already got it. Why not step back and get John Warner's seat?
The American economic system is the best engine of progress and economic growth and well-being for all people, including those on the lower end of the economic scale who don't tend to stay there. People too tend to move up in terms of income.
You can't get blood from a stone. Survey after survey has shown that women tend to be less interested in sports than men. You can look at their participation in intramural sports. You can look at the amount of money they spend on sports equipment, the amount of time they spend watching it. There just tends to be a lower level of interest in sport.
A very wise man once said you don't have to be straight to shoot straight.